I'm Darren with Arbitrage Trade, and this is After the Bell, episode number 3. My guests are Daniel Hopwood, ex-institutional wealth and see, I can't even say it because I don't want to say it. Ex-institutional wealth manager, and our founder and CEO, Royce Wells. I'm the resident ape who evidently lives in the basement of his parents' home still. Yay!
Yay! What nice sounds for you.
It does, yes. That's because my parents don't want to hear me when I get mad. All right, so
it was a good sacrifice. It was an investment.
Mom, they're picking on me again. All right. Did you hear that, Charles Gasparino? All right. So, all right, we're going to start off with tail of the tape, and we're talking about how the S&P has done. It's lately, though, last couple of days, it's kind of had a little correction back, but you know what? It goes back to 25 or 20. What's it going back to? It keeps going back to 520-ish.
Yeah, 520-ish or 5,200. Yeah.
It's like they want everyone to think that, see, look, we're actually following and actually taking it back, but no, they're not. They're just going back to the last high. That's all they're doing.
Yeah.
They're not correcting.
Right, baby. Right? Up and to the right.
All right. Yes, it is. It is kind of annoying at some point. But Daniel, why don't you talk a little bit about that S&P movement, where you think we're going, maybe a future bet. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, my IRA loves this, Darren. So, I have no complaints about the small deviation down to just continue to go up and to the right if it happens. But, for the S&P, that this is the best first quarter it's had since 2019. I believe it ended the quarter around up 10%. So, there are gains across the board, and a lot of it is due to, NVIDIA and AI investing, just continuing to rip, companies like Google really kind of carrying the top of the index. And yeah, where is it going? I don't know. Seasonality would show that there should be a little bit of a pullback coming up, but in a presidential election year, we typically outperform. So will seasonality be affected differently? Maybe it will be flat instead of down, potentially. I think we've talked about it before, but there are no heavy indicators yet, other than people I think were worried the other day that the Fed might not have a cut in June, which is what the down day was for. So, well, we'll see. But I mean, until then, things are golden. Bitcoin, gold, getting back to their all-time highs.
Oh, what are you talking about?
It's pretty out there.
Huge fall.
Yeah, but compared to where it was, it is quite close to its all-time highs.
Let's celebrate. I mean, talk about that, the results.
Oh, I knew that was going to come up. Stepped in that, right in
maybe several times throughout the broadcast here. Like anywhere I could just stick it in. All right, Royce, you got anything to say about S&P, where it's moving, what it's doing? That's not your chart later, is it?
The S&P, basically, it's showing resilience. It's staying, and it's hovering. Anytime you get like sideways motion in my charts, that usually means it's finding, I think in the institution they call it accumulation or consolidation. Or basically, it's just sitting there. And as long as it's sitting there, that allows probability and whatever the moving averages to catch up, and then allows it to have another leg up. So right now, I guess I'm agreeing with Daniel. Right now.
Okay. I don't really have an opinion either way on that. That we'll just move on. How about foreign exchange? We're going to talk a little bit about SBF because he was in the. How do we connect SBF with foreign exchange? We don't. FTX.
Nothing happens there.
Let's talk about FTX. Yes. Get it together, dumb ape in the basement. Let's talk about SBF and FTX and what happened and where he is. And is he comfortable right now? Is he around a bunch of new friends? What's going on with SBF?
He's going to be shortly. They sentenced him to 25 years in federal prison. So from my understanding, I've never been to prison, but this isn't the Martha Stewart summer camp.
But you work for a fund, so never mind.
That's about the same.
Hey, well, yeah, you know, the accommodations were maybe a little nicer, but
The polyester jackets are at the door.
I don't know, the grueling hours. And you can say stuff and not say stuff. And the person who has the biggest file wins. So a profile wins.
Okay, so I will bring up a couple of things here. SBF, they were looking for like over 100 years, I believe, on his sentencing, and
yeah, it was like
it got worked
125 or something.
all the way down to 20, or what was it, 50 or 25?
25.
Yeah, so now it's already that much reduced, and he was really good friends with a lot of politicians. You know, I don't know if that had anything to do with it or not, but you know, it could help as he gets back
hurt,
to the
right?
judge.
Hey, friends.
It's like the get out of jail sooner card. Yeah,
yeah, he paid his fees in advance and donations to both sides of the political spectrum.
Yeah, we won't discuss which side got most, but we'll keep going with that. I hope he has a nice, comfortable time in his cell. He probably is. It's probably going to be like when the mafia leaders get their cells. It's like they can freely go and come and all that good stuff.
They just can't leave the compound. Hey,
exactly. You can go to the pool out there, but you can't leave the compound because we have that little built-in.
I wonder if Uber Eats delivers.
It does he needs to go on a diet. All right, he probably will get a diet while he's there. Can you tell I don't like him? All right. I mean, it just may have something to do with tokenized securities, but who knows?
Hey, to be fair, creditors and depositors are going to get paid back allegedly in full.
Really?
Yeah, that's the story.
Because he misappropriated funds into venture bets and started venture investing on the side for FTX. And one particular thing he invested in is like now a multi-billion-dollar startup. So they're forcing a secondary sale of it to some Saudi wealth fund or something. And so it's like generating enough money back to be able to pay back creditors and depositors.
Hey, that means his venture.
So pretty much it's just like his house of cards collapsed, like just a little too soon.
At least give him some money, a credit card to buy some.
Wait, if everyone gets their money all back, why is he going to jail?
Because you're not allowed to take customer deposits and gamble it. It was against the rules after 2008. You can't have like a prop desk with using client money.
Good to know.
If you ever want to look at instances of that, go to the FINRA disciplinary actions, and you'll see them quite often.
It's called commingling. It's one of the first things you read about when you take your serious exams. It's quite illegal.
And commingling, it's illegal, and then they will slap somebody on the wrist. Of course, they're back at it 2 years later. And then it's crazy. Just go read the disciplinary actions. It's absolutely, and I'm that boring and a nerd, is to go look at those because
we pay to be that boring and a nerd. We like it.
It's always supervisory issues at the firm. That's what they pull it back to. There wasn't follow up though. There wasn't proper follow up. Oh, okay. I guess we're just going to talk about stuff that makes me mad. Here we go. We're going to the Tesla. I like Elon. Let's talk about Tesla. And the crash? I mean, it keeps going down. Is there going to be a bounce? What's going on there?
It's bounced some. It hasn't gone completely to the dumpster. I mean, it got down to 162 sometime last week or so, but then I thought it pulled itself back up. So it's not that bad. It's at 168. It got as high as in the last week. It got as high as about 177, 180. And then basically we ran out of room in our arbitrage band and down it went again. But we're not talking about that. Or are
we? What say you, Mr. Daniel?
It was the worst performing. It was the worst performing stock in Q1, dropped 29%. And a lot of it, allegedly has to do with the fire in their German factory, competition from China undercutting them, stuff going on in the Red Sea. And, the article I read joked that the only people that made money on Tesla last quarter were short sellers. They made $230 billion, which is pretty crazy. But, this is one of those things that kind of makes me think of like Warren Buffett saying of when other people are fearful, be greedy. And if you look at this, like everyone's like super bearish on EVs. Tesla, at least in America, is the number one leader in EVs, right? And if you look at their chart, they're on their fourth higher low of the last year. So, there's some indication of potential up in the future. How long that takes? When does it happen? Could it go down more? I don't know. But, this is definitely one of those areas where I'm like, oh, it's kind of interesting now, especially where it was, during COVID when it was like valued like an insane multiple. And, at the end of the day, they make cars.
Yeah. Well, let's not forget that overall the industry is not as desirable. That it just people don't necessarily want EVs as much as they did. So, I think we've said it here before. They don't want to get caught in the middle of winter without a car. So there's just so many things that still need to be fixed. And as far as being the best in the U.S., as far as sales go, I think that's going to depend on if a certain administration who may not like Elon too much allows the Chinese EVs to flood our markets. I mean, who knows what's going to happen there? But there are a lot of things that could.
Yeah, I'm still on the fence because it's like, okay, you're splitting the baby. You got the electric car, you got the gas car. What happened to that Prius that goes like 6,000 miles on a single tank of gas in one charge? Right. Why don't we just say, okay, Tesla, build a hybrid car?
That's why they're pushing Toyota so much right now, because they're the ones that are kind of the leader, if you will, in hybrids now. So
yeah, and
because have you seen a Cybertruck? Because I saw one the other day in the streets, and that thing looks sick. Okay,
yeah,
nice.
That was like Blade Runner 2040 or whatever that movie was. Like, it was.
Let's talk about cool. Mad Max 2025, which may be happening.
Yeah, it's like Tron and Mad Max
real.
like put together.
Come together.
Go find your food. Get in your
I mean, Darren, on your point of like tariffs with the Chinese, I have to imagine at some point, regardless of which party's in power, that they do something, right? What? There's been so much between like, okay, we're not going to sell as many NVIDIA chips to China, and then China's like, okay, we're not going to buy AMD and Intel. And, I think, obviously China isn't playing ball with us, that at some point we got to do something. Now, obviously the FTC is more concerned about like Amazon acquiring Roomba, but, I hope they get there eventually. I don't care that Amazon knows my floor plan. Like,
Gary says they need more people. That all the 182,000 that went to the IRS needs to go to the SEC.
Remember, the largest amount of gold that we found in the 20th and 21st century is data. Google figured it out in late 90s, and look at them. Same with Amazon. So, yeah.
I thought Royce, you were about to talk. I thought Royce was about to talk about how the Winklevi talked about how Elon Musk is going to mine asteroids, and that's why gold is worthless and Bitcoin is the only valuable scarce asset.
No, we're not going down that rabbit hole. Give me a tinfoil hat later.
We'll do an extra edition.
Did y'all see the Groupon? Elon Musk has a Groupon to Mars.
Oh, wow. Does it come in the mail still with the small booklets? You just flip through it and you see Elon's face.
I think it's like 99, like almost $1 million. It's like $1 short of $1 million, but you can get a ride on there, that Groupon to Mars.
Wow. So this coupon is for McDonald's, and this next one is cost you a lot more. Go to the moon.
I went to a Wendy's the other day, and I just got a sandwich and like a fry, and I think I spent like $13. And like I never eat fast food. I was like, I thought this used to be like $4.
Oh yeah. Everywhere else, just not San Diego.
So that's a good segue into inflation. Inflation is terrible. That's a macro factor right now, and it's the talk of everything comes back to inflation. What the Fed thinks of inflation, or what they use as excuse for inflation, and what probably is widening. In fact, I've seen some charts that show that the upper elite are getting a lot more out of this than the lower of us. So you have this wealth gap that's going.
It's not getting wider. Who told you that?
Okay. All right. Well, the charts say it is.
The charts.
That's assuming that the Fed charts are 100% accurate.
They are.
I'm sorry. I've just got to choke.
Data is king. As long as you don't have pure data, hey, that means you can
move it however you want. Yeah.
Well,
but seriously, on that point, the gas is shooting up. I mean, it is.
Yeah, I got gas
up over 80. So there may not be any cuts this year, and that talk is out there right now that there may not be any cuts because we're going to have to handle that inflation issue, which is only going to hurt the lower 80% even more, while the upper 20 makes more money.
Well, I heard there were like states were issuing stipends and stuff and allowances for families based on salary ranges, and I mean they're printing money. They're just printing money and giving it out, hoping that you will spend it. So
and they're starting to admit that is not good, even though like just recently, Yellen's changing
it took
her.
Them 4 years to figure that out.
Well, that's because it's transitory, Daniel. It's not real. It's oops. It lasted 4 years at least.
Yeah, it transitioned into a 30% increase in prices in the future, huh?
And it's like, hey, it's not my administration. I'm out, right? Put it in place and run.
Speaking of, when you went and shopped for Easter Bunny, it cost more, right? I mean, chocolate.
Oh my gosh, it was almost 75% more for the candy.
I don't have any young kids, so I didn't know, but
I have 4 kids.
I assume.
Yeah, I was like, how's this bill? What?
It's like you go to the half price sale after Easter, and then you're back to the regular price of what it normally is.
I'm like, Walmart at 2:30 on Easter morning. I mean, you can find some deals.
All right, we're trying to be positive. No, we're not.
It's Black Friday,
right.
Christmas, Easter.
Can't even enjoy Easter without inflation smacking us in the face.
Come on, it rises. It rises.
Yes, that is free. That is free. One of the few things that's free. We're going to turn this into a Trinity Broadcasting Network. All right.
You guys got jokes.
Preacher Royce. Hey. So, Royce, did you bring your pack of crayons this week? Do you have anything to share? To Royce, there it is. It looks like Tesla.
Yes, let's talk about Tesla. Where we left off, people were talking about Tesla. It's dying and had a horrible quarter, right? So let's go up to the daily time frame first to see what everyone was talking about. It couldn't have been that bad, right? Yeah, it could have been. So literally going right into 2024, first thing we got was a giant red arrow letting us know for the daily time frame, followed by that giant recycle red arrow for the weekly. And underneath all of that, if I turn off Atlas, we even have on the daily time frame a red arrow for the daily time frame, also saying, hey, the compass is not going to stay above that RSI line, and down we went. So literally all of 2024 so far, Tesla has been trying to pick himself up off of these ropes. And he made a valiant attempt roughly around March the 4th. He pushed and said, hey, we're going to go up. But so far, that lasted for about 2 days. Bounced right off of that RSI line, and we continue to drift and go sideways. He had another attempt just recently on the 27th of March, but once again, the RSI line held and no dice. The interesting part about this guy getting interesting is if we look at this, I'm going to bring my crayons up a little bit bigger, And what you're looking at in the middle of the screen now, roughly, is our forecast. The purple line that's in the forecast lets us know what the trend is overall doing. For the first time in a while, he actually has a positive forecast in the arbitrage band trading system, which is a very good thing, because in order for us to get an uptrend, this red that makes the top of the trend needs to be above that black line, and then for it to get support, the green band underneath has to also get there. But before either one of those can happen, you have to get one leg over before you can get the other leg over. It's just that simple. So Tesla actually has a shot at having an uptrend on our daily time frame, but it needs to get back over 182.50, and where it currently is, it's sitting at about 168 as of close today. So will it make it? We're not sure. If you see 182, look to see if it hovers near that price, and if it does, that might be a good indication that you can join the rest of the institutions as they pile on in too. All right, I'm going to take a look at one more, because I even talked to Darren about this guy just a little bit before. Hertz. Hertz has been hurting, but Hertz, just like Tesla, is sitting at the very bottom of this range. And remember, like I was telling you guys previously on Tesla, when we look at this, I'm going to double tap in to basically blow this guy up so we can see, right? Looking at where we are, we see the top has made it successfully above, and that bottom leg just needs to pull up. So it means if it can hover in this $7, $7.77 range just a little bit longer, probability should allow the bottom or the floor to rise up to that black line, giving it support and allowing us to have a run. So hope you guys have enjoyed that. That's all I got for this week's After the Bell.
Thank you very much, Royce. We are wrapping up this third edition of After the Bell. And so I thought we should talk about Tesla again. No, I'm just kidding.
We're trying to bet on Tesla?
I'm getting there. We will have that discussion, because we are in the discussion phase now. And, part of that discussion is when apes get to pound their chest and say, I was right. I was actually right 2 weeks in a row until something.
You were almost right. I'm going to defend Daniel here.
Weird happened at the last 30 minutes. It was really weird. Suspect.
I'm just saying, the quants and the institutional guys, they get along with each other. Those apes, though. Those apes.
We go on. We don't go through WhatsApp every week and show up on disciplinary actions. Anyway, we're going to go to the results, which it was what is Bitcoin going to do this week. And at closing today, it was at 65,865.
Where is it now? Is it still there?
Doesn't matter.
Pretty much.
Does not matter at
65,086.
It's in that same range. But just to and remind everyone, and I'll do it very slowly and take it in. Daniel has 64K and below. Royce has 68K and above. Now look at all the numbers they had versus my little bitty channel that I had to sit in, which was 6. And I went ahead anyway because I was convicted that it was 64 to 68. So I really think it should be double. I should get double because
I'm just saying before we
so
got
many less numbers
today, before we got to today, it touched 72. It just didn't hold it.
Royce was definitely the winner most of the week until right at the end.
Yep.
No, that was me last week, so I don't want to hear it. I feel no pain for you because that was me last week. So, any wrapping up thoughts? We got to figure out what we're going to do for next week. So, and then Royce, even though you're 0 and 2,
I'm still with the institution.
You're going to work. You're supposed to let the boss win. I'll just. But
the law of averages will work in my favor.
Scoreboard. He'll get his one way or another. What should we do next week? I mean, should we really do Tesla again? I mean,
we didn't do Tesla. We did
Bitcoin. Never done Tesla.
But I mean, we're talking about it. This is a Tesla blog now. But are we going to go with that one, or is there something else that maybe you guys are feeling for the next friendly or unfriendly wager? Nothing. I guess we'll go Tesla.
Yeah. So, all right, what's the ranges? I'm saying 182. I say it needs to hold 182 for
Okay,
at
hold
least 2 weeks.
All right, so let's set the stage. So right now, or
It's
at
at
closing,
168.
not right now, but at closing, it was what?
168 and some change.
168 and some change. Okay. So by next Wednesday, because there's so many macro effects that could happen too. We also looked at the chart.
I'm just saying 180. If we can get above 180, we go up. If we can't, we continue this down. And I'm expecting sideways. I'm expecting mostly sideways.
This has worked well for me, so I'm going to let Daniel go next, and then I'll go.
I'll take above 180, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. But Royce, you're saying above too, right? So
No. I'm saying that basically I'm expecting it to hold this level so that way it can get above 180. So like not in the next week, probably the next 2 to 3 weeks. I'm expecting to see it above 180, but it needs to literally hold this range or amount of volatility to get there. Because
what are you taking? 168 to what? What are you taking then?
168
are you going below 168?
174.
All right, so that's 6.
I'll do above 174. I mean, I'm on board with Royce.
I thought you were 180.
It needs to get above to get the uptrend, but while we're getting there,
Yeah, no, I agree. It's going to trade in a channel for a little bit, but markets aren't made on taking the same position. So I'll go above Royce's 174.
You're above. So he's 168 to 174. You're 174 plus. I just don't see it going down. So we're in a quandary.
Well, our trend top on Tesla, which basically covers about a 15-day window, is about 187.
So I should just cut you off.
Possible.
I'll make Daniel the middle person for once.
I'll take this. So
he's 174 to 180, and I'm 180 and above because all.
I want to wait. How many? How many numbers did Royce get? 168 to 174.
He got 6. You get 6. I get above.
Okay.
So that sounds fair. Next time we'll be more prepared about what we're going to do. But beauty of editing, this may not be as long, but it probably will be. So the final wager is Tesla 168 to 174 for Royce. And we have Daniel 174 to 180.
We got a new hybrid car.
174 to 1. Hey, get the Xiaomi that's in China. 174
the BYD Roadster equivalent. That thing looks sick.
The smartphone.
I want a Cybertruck.
Yeah, he's gonna go buy a Cybertruck to get the stock up, just to win this time. All right. Hey, thanks everybody. Anything else you want to throw in before we end this Wednesday after the bell?
See you next week.
See you next week.
I will see you next week. Everybody have a good time. See you next Wednesday.